Hello, we're recording, so good evening, good day. I thought I'd do a bit of a recap on the year so far, and for a change I thought I'd ask you what you've been doing and try and gauge what it is you're interested in. So many channels just talk about themselves, and obviously that's that's the only way you can do it, because unless you're doing a live stream, then you're not really going to get any feedback. But it's still just nice to get some comments and kind of provoke some interest and get some kind of questions and answers going backwards and forwards. So I thought for a change I'd just kind of start by saying, what have you been doing? Which of the videos on this channel do you like best? What other channels do you think are similar, or have you got lots from? What topics do you like most? Do you like long videos, short videos? Would you like to see collaborations? This week I did a collaboration with Code Monkey King, who, if you're familiar with web scraping, you may have already subscribed to his amazing videos. And although he's not really focusing on web scraping at the moment or in the future, then his videos pretty much cover everything you could ever wish to know about Scrapey or Beautiful Soup. So yeah, I just thought I'd put it out there, ask some questions, say what would you like to see videos on. And yeah, in a minute I'll get to kind of the main topic of this video. I just thought I'd actually show you some countryside as well, because this is beautiful. This is England in the summer, and I'm stood by a huge great oak tree. And if we look down there, you can see some huge, I think they're mushrooms or toadstools, probably poisonous, but yeah, so you can see this is the English summer, and this field has just had hay or silage made in it. And we've had some rain today, and it's after a hot spell. I actually really like the rain, and it makes everything fresh. So yeah, we're lucky. I think it's lucky to have a mixture of rain and sun. I think some people often want it sunny all the time, and yeah, you see all the videos, you see the holiday videos selling all the sunshine and the cocktails and the beaches, but I don't know, the smell of rain on grass and just the earth smells great. So yeah, sometimes you just got to kind of be thankful for what you've got, really, and don't be suckered in by adverts, the media, the internet in general. Which brings me on to, I mean, I don't know if it's just me, but I've seen quite a few videos which are related to coding, supposedly, but they just seem like more like a lifestyle video where somebody lives in an apartment, they've got all the Apple products, they've got IKEA furniture, they live in an apartment that overlooks New York or London, and are they selling a lifestyle? Does it make you envious? Does it make you think I want to be like them? Because really, they're not talking about Python, they're not talking about C. Subconsciously, they might be talking about Beautiful Soup or Selenium or something, but really you're just looking around their room and just thinking, oh yeah, that's nice. Oh, I like their microphone. Or oh, he's got a guitar on the wall, I like that. Oh wow, yeah. So really, what is it that actually the video is about? And I try and keep my videos about code. I nearly always put the code on GitHub, and in a minute I'm going to actually get to the very essence of this video. And probably some of you just, I think everybody, myself included actually, you start watching a video, and because you haven't got time to watch it all the way through, you just skip to kind of a quarter, then a half, and then you probably skip to about 2 minutes from the end. Now, especially with coding videos, and I sometimes think I'm on hiding to nothing, and anybody who does those sort of videos takes a lot of time, and really what I could just do, or anybody could really do, is just write a code to a 3-minute video, and then just put the finished code up, and then just a quick chat about it, and then somebody's just going to go and click on GitHub, and then they're just going to download the code anyway. If you don't listen to them, especially if it's an hour-long video or half an hour-long video, If you watch the video halfway through, there's probably going to be some problems, and you're going to learn more from seeing their problems and how they fixed it halfway through the video than just skipping straight to the end and seeing the finished code. I know recently I've been installing different distros on my laptops, and long story short, I think if you've watched my video where I was moaning about Windows 10, and Windows 10 was telling me to do an update in May, and then it said you need to uninstall VM Workstation, and I thought, well, I'm not going to run WSL, I'm not going to uninstall VM Workstation just because Microsoft say so. And really just I thought, well, I've been thinking about it for a long time, and my personal opinion, after longer than I would want to admit to you, is that Unix and Linux is far superior to Windows in every way, really, unless you play games. So if you run Flight Simulator, then Windows is amazing, and just get a separate computer. Have a computer for playing games, have a computer for writing code. And I think what finally convinced me was how good VS Code is on Linux. It's amazing. It's exactly the same, and everything works, and it's solid, and it's stable. And if you even if you freeze your machine up, like you may have seen me do with my workstation when I ran out of memory, just Control or F2, go to run level 3, PS space AX, see all the running processes, get the process ID, and then just kill that process. And well, even and before that, you do CP whatever the name of the file is to CP name of the file .bak, and then you've got your backup file. So yeah, you won't lose any data, and you don't get the not responding, the spinning disk. Anyway, I'm not here to talk you out of switching from Windows to Linux. This is my preference, and if you disagree, then that'd be really good to also find out why, and if I'm actually missing something. Anyway, yeah, getting back to Linux, I've been using Mint on my PC because with the NVIDIA drivers, it just supports 3 screens so much better than, I think it's Mandriva. I had terrible problems with, screen tear? And just trying to get 3 screens running with the NVIDIA drivers. And I know there's issues with Linux and NVIDIA drivers. I think for a long time NVIDIA didn't release the drivers for Linux. I think Microsoft wanted to keep them locked in, or vice versa. So yeah, anyway, long story short, I've been running Mint. And I know, I don't know if any of you watch Luke Smith, but he's got a bit of a downer on Debian, and obviously Linux Mint is based on Debian. And yeah, I can see why Arch Linux, or, I mean, if you want to really, really learn about Linux, then Arch Linux or Mandriva, Mandrake, whatever it's called. What was it called? I remember it was called Mandrake, and it's Mandriva. Oh, Manjaro, yeah. I'm showing my age because I remember when it was called Mandrake. What was I talking about? Yeah, distros. So anyway, I'll wrap it up here. So yeah, I've got Fedora on one laptop, which is, yeah, it's pretty good. I just had a problem today with GPG keys, and it's moaning about that. So it's complaining that the GPG key for Sublime Text is, and I can't install anything else now, so I've got to go back and sort that out. Yeah, Manjaro, it's quite nice. To be honest, I don't really care. They're all Linux, so as long as you can use, you know, grep, and I've been teaching myself more and more Vim, and it's amazing, and I'm going to force myself to persevere, even though sometimes it feels like harder work. But already I think I've gone past the tipping point. I really don't want to ever use Nano again. And once you've learned enough about Vim, then using Nano feels like riding a bicycle after you've driven a sports car. So yeah, if you're reluctant to use Vim, I understand, and I was like that, but get a tutorial on Vim and just spend 3 hours, even if it's on a weekend or of an evening, 3 hours practicing Vim. And you've got Vim Tutor, which is built in if you're on a Mac or on Linux as well. And I mean, Vim Tutor probably will teach you enough. There are certain things, I mean, Vim Tutor teaches you :WQ to save a file, whereas if you, from Luke Smith, I actually learned you just do Shift ZZ, and that's so much better. So yeah. Anyway, I've talked about Linux, I've talked about Vim, and it's amazing. And yeah, I'll wrap it up there, because if you're a Windows user, you don't want to hear about how great Linux is. So yeah, next topic really, which is pretty much the main topic of this video. So if you've left this video before 10 minutes, then you're missing the main point, and shame on you. And if you've just skipped 10 minutes, well, shame on you also, because you've missed 10 minutes of countryside and interesting chat. Cut. Anyway, do you want to see some more countryside before I talk about the main topic? It's June, it's near midsummer, and everything is so green. So yeah, if you live in the southern hemisphere, just getting my own back really, for when you had all that sunshine and I was looking out my window at snow. If you're in South Africa or Australia, then yeah, look at this English summer. And it's I don't know, it's about 8:30 at night, and it's, even when it's been raining, it's still lovely and light. Like, so this is kind of the payback for all the really dark winter nights when it gets dark at 3:30 in the afternoon in December. Right, so main topic is why. Have you ever typed in why into Google? In fact, I don't actually use Google anymore, and I use DuckDuckGo, and I'm not even sure if that's quite as wholesome as it makes out to be. I'm thinking of, is Ecosia, is that actually better and more eco-friendly and more private than DuckDuckGo? Or should I just use Tor browser and use Tallis? I don't know. For the time being, I'm using so there we go. Tilt the camera and get a bit more light on the subject. So yeah, DuckDuckGo, Google. Yeah, so with Google, if you type in why, W-H-Y, if you're Spanish, then it'll be que. If you're French, then pourquoi. If you're Russian, I don't quite know. I only know Privyat and Spasibo and Как дела. Anyway, you don't want to hear me practicing my languages. What I was going to talk about was type in Y into Google, and the first thing you will see on the page is an Amazon advert. No. So I typed in Y, the first thing I saw was an Amazon advert, and then, guess what I then thought? Why? So this section is all about asking why, and if you keep asking why, it's the most powerful thing you can do in life, really, and it's what children do. And as adults, especially, I'm not a parent, but if any of you are parents, you're just going to think, yeah, why? Why is probably the most annoying question as well if you're probably a parent with small children. But why? So Google doesn't tell you why. Google just gives you an Amazon advert, and then it probably gives you some links to a dictionary with the dictionary definition below it. But the first result is almost certainly a sponsored Amazon advert, and I just think that's sad, really, because kind of the most powerful question in the world has been hijacked by Amazon. Now, some of you might like Amazon, you might work for Amazon, you might think Amazon's amazing, you might use Amazon AWS with your job, you might think it's wonderful. If you think I'm talking rubbish and I'm just kind of a weirdo, then say so. I'm open to persuasion, but I don't want to get banned, but I guess YouTube won't ban me because Amazon are a rival to YouTube. So if you love Amazon, then, well, skip forward. But anyway, enough of a rant about Amazon. I think I've made my thoughts clear. Amazon hijacking the most powerful question in the English language, which is the most spoken language in the world, I believe. So effectively, Amazon have hijacked the most widely spoken language in the world, and Amazon have hijacked it. So yeah, well done. So whilst speech hasn't been reduced to 5,000 words, like if you've read George Orwell's 1984. It hasn't been hijacked by the thought police. It's been hijacked by Amazon. So, yeah, it's not. We're not being led into. We're not being forced into servitude. We're willingly sleepwalking into it by our purchasing habits. So think on. Right. Next, why? So the real meaning of why. Why do you use Windows? Why do you prefer Linux? Why are you watching this video? And if I've really made you think, you might have just said, yeah, why am I watching this video? I should go and visit my family, or I should go and do some work. In which case this video served its purpose, because it's made you think why. And if you ask why about everything, I think it will eventually lead you to some truths. If you think, why does this happen? Or why is the sky blue? Put it into a search engine. Notice I didn't say Google. And also, what I've been thinking about is why, although programming languages use a kind of, particularly Python, is based on the English language in many ways, and just coding in general. So you've got a for loop. So for is an English word. While, do, class. So obviously programming languages are all based on English words. So you've got for, you've got do, you've got object, you've got class, you've got module, find, replace. What's the one word that you do that is not a keyword in any programming language? It's why. W-H-Y. You never get why in a programming language, as far as I know. No. Why is almost the most powerful 3 letters that you can ever use. And yeah, you've probably got the point by now. I mean, this we're into what, 17 minutes now, and all I've talked about is why. So obviously you're probably watching this because you've got an interest in Python or web scraping or just coding in general, or you just happen to come across it on YouTube because one link led you to another, and you'd watched, I don't know, maybe you'd watched Code Monkey King's channel, or you'd watched a Raspberry Pi video, and then you've ended up here. So why are you still watching? Why did you watch the video that led you here? What are you watching this on? Are you watching this on your phone? Why are you watching it on your phone? Why are you not watching it on your computer? I say that because often if you watch something on a phone, it diminishes. It's like people that listen to music on their phone. You lose the sound, you lose the bass, you lose the deep bass, the drums, and so on. So yeah, if you watch a video on your phone, then could you watch it on, yeah, all right, there's no problem with that, but could you watch it on an iPad? Could you watch it on a bigger screen? Anyway, why? So why are you watching it? Why are you watching it on your phone? Why have you just fast forwarded to this bit? Why did you not watch all of it? Okay, so why did you not watch all of this video? Probably because you've actually now got a short attention span. Why have you got a short attention span? It's because everything is fast, bang, 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 bang. And you can see, you're like a kid in a sweet shop because you're looking at YouTube and there's 10 other suggestions of other videos to watch. And also then you've got to watch Netflix, and also you've got to be up to go to work really early. And you've got to eat your food, and then you've got to watch the football game on TV. So why have you got to cram all these things in? Why can't you dedicate time to doing one thing and doing it in its entirety? And this I think this probably first started with sort of iTunes, and nobody like music, nobody would listen to, in the old days, a record, an LP, an album, or CD, or tape was an hour long. But now people just listen to the greatest hits, or they just pick out the top 2 songs and they just play those. So rather than listening to an album and sit down for an hour, you just listen to, oh yeah, I like that song. I listen to that 3 minutes on my phone, and then I'll just go on YouTube. Oh, then I'll go and watch Netflix. So, or then I'll go on Amazon and buy something shiny. Yeah. So this is not a rant. This is just a question, and please accept it as a question. Why? Get back to your career. So you're probably watching this because you've got an interest in computing or networking or coding, Raspberry Pis, Linux, web scraping, automation. Yeah, so, which leads me on to automation. Okay, so you probably would, if someone said, what's the Dr. Pi Python 360 channel about? You may say web scraping, you might say, oh, it's a bit of code, it's a bit of web scraping, it's a bit of SQL, it's a bit of everything. You're missing the point. It's about automation. Automation is what all coding is. You're automating something that either used to be done by a human, or would be done by a human if computers hadn't been invented. So, automation. And if you write code, you're not really a programmer or coder. You're an automator. You're automating something, and nothing wrong in that. And that's, to me, it's just my definition or my description. And yeah, again, do you think I'm talking rubbish? Automation. That's what we all do, and we're all automating something that would otherwise take longer. Right. So, if you accept that as being true, hopefully you do. That takes me on to the next subject, which is, what have we automated? Which that's just quite an easy thing to answer. So we've automated extracting text from a PDF and saving it into a CSV. We've automated some machine learning which identifies linear regression. It works out the cost of a house, or it predicts the cost of a house. So that's what, and what have we done, and what are we doing? That's always quite easy to answer, or easier. But to try and answer why are we doing this? That's often a minefield, and I don't think many of us really. Sometimes we haven't got time or the energy, or we don't want to ask why. And I don't know if any of you have bought or read the book by Sweigart, Automate the Boring Stuff with Python. You see, automate. I only just thought of that. That wasn't premeditated, but yeah, automate. So coding, programming, call it what you will. Again, what's the definition of coding? What's the definition of programming? Do you know? I kind of know, but again, it's splitting hairs. And to me, I don't really care I'm not too worried about those definitions, because to me, I'm starting to see it all as automation. So if you write a chess engine, what are you doing? You're automating the positions of the pieces without having a human involved. So it's automation. Everything's automation. So if we can agree that everything's automation, good. That once we've agreed on that, then we can say why. So why did we automate it? Why do we want to automate something? Now, if you say, I automate this because it's my job, why is it your job? And I'll explain why it's my job, or I think it's my job. And then hopefully you can kind of leave in the comments, why do you code? Is it because it pays well? Is it because you've got a natural aptitude for it? Is it because you're the only person that can do it in your company and kind of your boss wants you to do it because you got good at it and then he gave you a pay rise, so then you did it some more, and then over a few years you've got even better at it? Do you do it because you used to be a carpenter and you got sick of it and it was really wet and cold and you didn't want to do it anymore, and then you thought, I'll do code? Fine, I'm not judging anybody. I'd like to believe that I don't ever really judge anybody, it sounds a bit self-righteous, but none of us should judge anybody, really. Don't judge other people, but think about the reasons and why. Again, why are we automating this? And for instance, if you've helped write some code which has done facial recognition and it's being used in city centres and it is tracking people's movements, or if you've done something with OpenCV and it's doing facial recognition and it's checking for people who aren't wearing masks, think why. Why am I writing code that checks if people are wearing masks? Why? And then think, why are people not wearing masks? And without getting into the subject of did COVID come from a laboratory, or was it a conspiracy, or whatever? Why am I writing something that tracks other people and their movement? And if you keep asking why, you'll eventually arrive at some kind of truth which you can sit easy with in your mind, and then if you can answer why and you're happy with that, that's fine, that's good. If you keep saying why and then that one why leads to another why, eventually you're going to think, yeah, I don't think this is really what I should be doing. And rather than write software that tracks people's movements around town centres when they're just doing their job, maybe I'll become a data scientist and I'll get involved in why elm trees are dying in the UK and soil analysis and why things die and why the rivers are polluted. Or I'm not sounding like an eco warrior, but all I'm saying is keep thinking, why am I doing this? Not just, don't just think, why am I writing this function and why am I using a dictionary and why am I using JSON? Think bigger than that. Don't even think, why am I using Python or why am I using C? Think, why am I working on this project? And why is the person I work for paying me to do this project? And why are they being paid to do this project? And why is it a good idea that this project is actually happening? And the more times you ask why, the more times, if you can keep answering those questions with good answers, you'll be really happy, because you'll think, I'm doing a great job, I'm helping people, each day I'm making the world better, I'm making people happy, I'm keeping people healthy, I'm saving people from doing a really boring job. I did a project where I was doing kind of web scraping, but it was extracting invoice data from some PDFs, and previously the user had 30 PDFs a day of invoices, and they were just typing all of those, going for each one of those and typing it into a CSV in Excel. And I can only imagine how boring that was, but by automating it, hopefully they haven't been made redundant, because I think the business that wanted me to do it was growing. So rather than them having to hire 4 more people and potentially get a much larger wage bill and then be more vulnerable if there was a downturn and have to then make one of those people redundant, what they were able to do was free up one of their existing staff. And yeah, you could argue that by me doing what I did, they would have had to have hired 2 more people, so I've actually done one person out of a job. But you could keep on going with that argument, and ultimately you could say, well, do away with computers altogether, and then 100 million people have all got more jobs. But that's going back to the dark ages, and yeah, I don't think really that's a valid argument. So by extracting data, I used, in case you're interested, I started using PDF to Pi. Pi to PDF, yeah. And that, I think that's still for Windows. And yeah, it only worked on Windows, and I think I had to install something on Linux, and it's called Poplar. And they ceased supporting that or coding it around 3 years ago or something. So although it's very popular and it sounds like kind of the de facto PDF extraction module that you should use, PDF Plumber was cross-platform, much better, much more accurate, and it extracted all of the text, and it was in a much neater format with less errors. Yeah, PDF Plumber. Anyway, I digress. I was talking about how to automate something. So yeah, by automating that, I'm hoping I've prevented somebody from having to sit there typing something repetitive over and over again. I can't even speak English properly. How can I speak Spanish or French or Russian or anything? If you watch Code Monkey King, he could speak Korean, English. Man's a genius. Where was I? Why? What? And automation. So far, if you're still watching, well done. We've just gone past the half-hour mark. And do you want to see some more scenery? There we go. So that's your little break. Have a drink of water, and let's continue. So just swapping hands because my arm was aching. Okay, so yeah, where in the world are you from? Because I get obviously I get a few comments, and I'm guessing not everybody's from the UK. So yeah, just interested to which part of the world you're from. And I can sometimes see with YouTube analytics where my viewers are from, but it'd be nice to know if you leave me a comment, just say, yeah, hi, whatever your name is, and I'm from Chile or India or China or Brazil, wherever. Just interesting. I'm just being nosy, really. I'm not even doing market research. So that's the why.